Before we start the show, let's hear from one of our sponsors. Their support keeps this show free for you.
All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to paint their door a vibrant shade of blue. Others have the need to decorate their bathroom with fish, anchors, and other nautical items. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.
Thanks for joining me on the Peace and Parenting podcast. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to the Peace and Parenting podcast. I'm Michelle, and I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for joining me, and thanks for being a part of this community. I want to talk about a misconception in connective parenting or gentle parenting, or some people call it respectful parenting. And let me just be clear, there are nuances and differences amongst these types of parenting. And I really do teach a connective parenting, which is derived from hand-in-hand parenting from Patty Whitfler, where I was trained. And that is really my ideology. And the reason I like connective parenting is because it relies on tools that people can really use in everyday life. People can use these tools in different situations, and all those tools are steeped in the ideas of connection. And I teach those tools to anybody who will listen. I try to help people with mindset, which really helps make application of those tools easier and better. But really, connected parenting is based in these tools. But when I'm talking about gentle parenting or connected parenting in this framework, I'm really talking about anything that doesn't condone the idea of punishments or consequences or yelling or punitive measures. But there is this misconception, this idea, I think, out there that gentle parenting or connected parenting is just this idea that if you speak in a gentle voice, or if you come with a gentle attitude and you interact with your kids in a gentle way, that means that you are a gentle parent. But I don't find that to be the case at all. And I don't find that I necessarily come to my kids with a gentle voice. And a lot of people also say that gentle parenting or connected parenting is having mini therapy sessions or explaining things to children. And so people have said if you just sit and explain everything to your kids, or it's been said that, if a child does something wrong, the criticism is that the parent will come by and say, oh, we can't throw the ball at Johnny's head because, Johnny was being really nice to you and it's really unkind to throw things at Johnny's head and look how you've made him feel. And, that's not a good thing to do. Don't you agree? And just kind of gently lecture a child about what they've done wrong and explain and have this full-on reasoning with a child about what they've done wrong, and that this is the crux of gentle parenting. And I think this is where we get so much pushback in society, especially from the very staunch traditional side of parenting, because there is that idea that this is gentle parenting. I think what's happened is there's been a whole generation of people that have not wanted to yell and scream and use consequences and shame and belittle and berate their kids. And so instead of doing that, because they don't know what else to do, they've gone to these mini therapy sessions or over explaining or gently lecturing their child. And somehow they believe that that is a parenting technique in and of itself. But it isn't. And that's where we run into many, many problems, where we become permissive, but we also are shaming. That can be very shaming to a child. So it's like this permissive yet shaming, no connection, kind of just like willy-nilly kind of parenting that has been shoved into the category of connective, respectful, gentle parenting. And it's really not fair, because the people that are saying this don't really understand what it is. And yet many people are perpetrating connective, gentle parenting in this kind of over-explaining mini therapy kind of gentle voice way, which is not it at all.
We're going to take a break from our show to hear from our sponsors. Without their sponsorship, I wouldn't be able to bring you this incredible show free of charge. So I'll see you back in a few minutes.
All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to paint their door a vibrant shade of blue. Others have the need to decorate their bathroom with fish, anchors, and other nautical items. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.
Are you sick of the sibling fighting? Are you tired of asking your child to do the same thing over and over and over again, only to end up using threats and bribes to try to get them to cooperate? Well, it doesn't have to be like that. You can learn the ideas of connection through our Connected Parent Mastermind group coaching program. We meet 3 days a week. Myself and my 2 coaches hold meetings. We also give you access to all of my online materials, meaning 10 modules of instruction, PDFs, podcasts, and my book. You get to join our school community and interact with coaches and myself and so many parents who are doing this work just alongside you. So if you're feeling stuck, or if you want to accelerate your connected parenting practice even further, join the Connected Parent Mastermind. Click the link in the show notes for more information.
Thanks for supporting our sponsors. Now back to the show.
The other thing that has happened, I think, too, with this generation of parents that don't want to yell and berate, myself included, is that they have leaned into like helicopter parenting or bulldozer parenting or getting rid of all the obstacles. So not only are they having these mini therapy sessions and over reasoning, over explaining, kindly lecturing, punishment light, they are also pushing out all of the difficulties, all of the roadblocks for their children. Oh, your teacher was mean to me. Let me call and fix it for you. Oh, you couldn't do your homework. Here, let me do it all for you, or let me guide you so much that I'm practically doing it for you. Oh, you don't understand. You can't do that for yourself. Here, let me do it for you. So there's been, and it's almost like an over parenting, like an over involvement, like a helicopter-y tiger mom type of, over involvement and making sure that a child is super successful or that they don't experience any of these roadblocks. And so this also has been attributed to gentle connected parenting. So I understand why traditional conventional parenters are like, screw that. I don't want to treat my children like that. And then they call those children snowflakes. But I don't know if they're so wrong, because if you do treat your child with this is your framework, right? I'm going to push out all of the things that are hard. And I'm also going to have these mini therapy sessions and gently tell you why everything that you've done is wrong. But I'm not using connection, and I'm not using natural consequences, and I'm not using the frameworks and the tenet and the ideology of connective parenting. I wouldn't want that for my kids either. And it might actually create snowflakes. I don't know. But it might create kids who are unable to deal with things when they come up, difficult moments. And so I get why there's the pushback, and I get why there's the confusion. I think many people believe they are gentle parenters or connected parents, but they don't really understand what that is. And it really is not speaking gently. And it really is not, getting overly involved and doing things for our kids. But what connected parenting is, it is a framework. And it starts with this idea that we prioritize the relationship that we share with our children. And then in that overall and arching idea, we have many aspects, and the many aspects are we listen with empathy, but we don't fix problems. We really lean into being supportive with a child when they're having a hard time, but we don't tell them necessarily how to fix it. We are just their supportive confidant. We set limits followed with empathy so that when we set the limit and the child is upset about it, we don't rescind that limit. We don't go back on that limit. We don't do things for the child. We don't take out the trash, but we listen to the feelings around the limit and we supply empathy with it, but we stick to our limits. We also use limits to expel feelings where a child might need to have feelings and we listen to those feelings. It doesn't mean we condone behavior, but we listen and are empathic around the feelings. We don't use consequences and punishments and threats and bribes because those create false sense of borderlines for our child or a false sense of morality. We want them to create their own morality. And in doing so, we let the natural consequences come into action and we let those teach the lessons even when it's really hard, even when they might fail a class, even when they might say the wrong thing to their friends. We allow them to do those things without our input, but our support, which is very different too. We're not permissive and take our hands off. We stay closely by as they fail the class and we say, oh my goodness, this is really hard. What are we going to do? What are you going to do? You failed this class. What's our next steps? I'm here to help you. I'm not going to fix it for you. You're going to have to fix this for yourself. But you learn an incredible lesson in it. That is another big part of connective parenting. We also use play as a way to thwart off-track behavior and take the air out of difficult situations, as opposed to using consequences, punishments, threats, and bribes, and all of those things that create shame. We use a lot of play, and we use it very strategically. We also use something called listening partnerships where we really, allow ourselves to have our own parent tantrum with another parent so that we can come re-regulated to parenting, because it's not always easy to be a parent. And it's not always easy to stay regulated when you are taking all this on for everybody. When you're doing all this caretaking, you need a place to get it out. And so we pair people up so that they can have that place. And inside of our communities, we have that place, because you can't be alone in doing this work, because it isn't just talking to your child gently. That's not it. And it isn't just doing things for them. And it isn't just being permissive. It's a lot of things. And we need a space to learn those things and understand them with other people and not feel like we're alone. And that's why community is so important. And that's why getting help support is so important. That's why I do this work. And if you're feeling like you need some more support, then please contact us. There's a place to do a discovery call in the show notes. So we use these ideas, and we also use a thing called special time, which is just committing time to your child where they're in charge. And it's a very powerful tool, and it's a daily tool, and it's something we use all the time. And it isn't just spending time with your kids, it's spending very specific time in a very specific way. So it sounds like, connected parenting is just being, or gentle parenting is just being gentle, just talking kindly, but that's not it. The other mindset shifts around connective parenting are that, we love our children unconditionally. We love them just as much when they do the quote unquote wrong thing as when they do quote unquote the right thing. And we don't get upset and disappointed and angry and wounded and take it personally when our child does something wrong. We are mature enough to fly at 30,000 feet and say they're a child. They get more grace than we do. They get more space than we do to make mistakes. They are going to say, I hate you. They are going to hit their brother or sister. They are going to do these things. And we accept that as a natural progression of a child, as opposed to taking it personally and as opposed to taking it on. And a lot of parents will also say, like, it's my fault. I've done something wrong. My kids are hitting each other. It must be my fault. And we don't take that on either. It isn't our fault. It's part of growing up. And your kid is going to do all these things. My kids do all these things. And another big piece of it too is knowing that you're not going to do this perfectly, that you are going to mess up, that things are going to be hard, and you're going to say and do the wrong thing just like your child does, because you're human and so are they. So connective parenting, gentle parenting is not just talking to your children gently. I promise you that has nothing actually to do with it at all. And when I try to tell people this who are on this traditional trajectory, they don't get it or understand it or believe it. And I understand why, because they've been given this whole picture of gentle parenting, that it's just talking a lot and reasoning with their kids. But it's not that. And if you believe it's that, I would implore you to kind of look a little deeper and study a little more and listen to more podcasts and get the book and like really get in there and figure out, oh yeah, it isn't just these simple things about talking to my kids or scripts or tricks. It is a bigger framework. So I hope this helps kind of demystify this idea that gentle parenting is just speaking gently to your children, because it isn't. And it isn't also taking all the roadblocks away. In fact, it's allowing the roadblocks to really work their magic on your children, to teach them the really hard lessons in life and to be able to be okay with that. And that's not easy, let me tell you. And as they get older, it's even harder. So start young, start letting them fail young, start letting them, really hit those roadblocks young so that they can start learning where their guardrails are themselves, because pretty soon they'll be able to limit themselves. And you can't control them with these consequences and punishments like traditional parenting tells you. You just can't, especially as they get older. They won't care anymore. And so we want them to care. And that's the piece of connected parenting. It's the relationship, right? We want them to care about the relationship we share with them eternally, because that's all you're going to have in the end, is the relationship you share with your kids. All right, I could go on and on forever. Thanks for joining me on the Peace and Parenting podcast. If you're looking for more support, please find us. We are here to help.
All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to paint their door a vibrant shade of blue. Others have the need to decorate their bathroom with fish, anchors, and other nautical items. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.